Well, he's a household name thanks to the most pointless game show on television. He was even given the royal approval after hosting a charity version where one of the competitors was the Queen and he's a descendant of William the Conqueror. That doesn't get you excited. Nothing will.
He's Alexander Armstrong. He's returning to comedy where it all began. He's about to kick off his first ever solo stand-up tour, for which he has been sent to Coventry.
But more importantly, here's our pointless trophy.
Oh, let's make it about us.
So
Let's make this interview about us.
Beautiful thing.
Interesting. So I
Yeah.
didn't realise you've never done a stand-up tour.
Never have, no.
So come on, you're a few days away. You're
A few days
starting
away.
in Coventry. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Is it squeaky bum time?
It's, a little bit. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to and breaking it is almost exactly the same.
Is it
So,
just
yeah.
comedy? Is it singing and comedy? What is it?
It's comedy, mainly. There are some songs. I've written, so far, 5. I think there's going to be a 6th song in there, but some naughty songs. And some stand-up. I sort of have been doing stand-up in a way, because I'm doing, I do corporate things.
Yeah,
so
I've
been
seen
doing
it.
that
Very
for
good.
a long time. So, I kind of have done it, but I haven't done a big proper tour.
I tell you what you have done, though. You've been under pressure before, because to do a version of Pointless where Her Majesty is competing...
Listen,
must
I
be
know.
one of the toughest gigs that you've ever done.
It was certainly one of the weirdest. I mean, it was a lovely thing to be asked to do. I think she's a big fan of the 6 o'clock news, is the truth.
Yeah.
I think she tunes in a bit early.
Catches the end of it.
But, and I think, she was engaged enough by it to tune in a bit earlier each time. Her lady-in-waiting said that they do sometimes watch it from the beginning. if she's free. I think she quite enjoys it.
How much is Brexit going to be figuring in your stand?
In my stand, do you know, I've decided not really to talk about it at all. Isn't that interesting? It's not really.
Well, I don't blame you, because it's so toxic, so divisive.
Oh, it's so divisive. I mean, even amongst Remainers, they all start fighting, and Brexiteers fight as well. So no, it's not really. I mean, it's not a topical thing.
It's also so dominant, and people
Lord, isn't it?
want a break from Brexit.
Do they not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's insofar as it's about anything, my tour is about. It's kind of about all the mad things I've done, because I've said yes to a great many things across my career. As I think everyone does, we all say yes, and you kind of start. You think, well, OK, I'm going to work in entertainment in some form. And you just say yes, and you end up seeing where you end.
I love it. The way you describe it is, it's like swinging from a vine and hoping that another vine comes to reach you.
You might end up, 5 years from now, you might be a psychologist on the sofa on Good Morning Britain, or you might be the minister in charge of exiting the EU. You could be anything.
You've always struck me. I mean, you're a very civilised chap. And I don't mean that as an allegation. That's a statement of fact. You're very polite on air. You're polite off air. You've got a lot of charm and so on. We're in a very toxic, tribal kind of environment these days, where social media fuels the tribalism. Everyone hurls abuse all the time.
Yeah.
We were just talking about John Bercow and this exit speech interview he's given, talking about we've got to try and get back to being Democrats. I mean, have you had massive arguments with friends, with family about political issues? I mean, what's the answer to all this?
I mean, actually, the truth is, I think face-to-face, things are generally a little bit warmer and a bit more sensible. I think part of the problem with social media is it's written, and you can never hear the tone in which somebody said something, and you always assume the worst. Even if you say something genuinely as a joke to someone, or if you write ha ha ha, if they've said something funny and you write back ha ha ha, they go, I thought that was they only meant as a joke. You think, no, I was laughing.
Ellen DeGeneres, the American comedian, she said on her show she was seen at the weekend with President George W. Bush at a football match.
And it was like she'd committed a crime.
And literally, she's been vilified. There's a cancel Ellen campaign because she dared to show a video of her with the former president because he's a Republican president. And she made a very impassioned statement on her show saying, what's it come to when I can't be civil?
The pleasures of being a human being is coming up with difference. That's the point. You're meant to enjoy.
I can argue for hours, and have done, about the merits of a vegan sausage roll. But I love that argument. But I don't want to...
no one else
I don't want to order people not
with
to have
himself,
it.
if necessary.
The other weird thing is that most of us exist in a kind of grey area, and we're very complex beings. We don't have sort of Manichaean, well, I think this and I think this. A lot of us, we're capable of having quite contradictory thoughts, on so many different levels.
Well, we should be able to enjoy argument. I mean, I love a good argument, as you probably probably may have gathered over the years. But
It comes over,
yeah, but I don't. Well, actually, but I really enjoy somebody sticking it back at me and having a good argument back. But the idea that this should always end in someone being cancelled or ruined or wrecked,
It's ludicrous.
I just don't get that.
No, but I think also Alexander's making the point you don't have to argue about everything all the time.
Yes, you do.
Sometimes,
And it's possible sometimes to be split. I mean, my goodness.
sometimes you can hold, as you say, two contradictory thoughts in
You
your
can.
head and actually think,
You can.
OK.
I mean, on the great issue of the day, I remember years ago reading Matthew Paris saying that people always talk about parties being split on Brexit. He said, what about individuals? He said, most people have a fault line that runs pretty much down the middle of them on Brexit.
I think the worst thing, self-righteousness, has really got a grip now.
Yeah.
Where people aren't just expressing an opinion, they're so completely dementedly certain that they're correct. That anyone that doesn't agree with them...
He's talking about himself again.
Well, no, actually,
Well,
no.
but it does.
Actually,
It
actually,
does,
I don't take the self-righteous tone. I don't think. I don't say if you do something I don't agree with, you must be ruined and you're stupid and all the rest of it. I just say I don't like something.
Yeah.
That's different.
To be fair, you're quite harsh and brutal about climate change protesters, vegans, feminists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not
sort
feminists.
You sort of think that they should all be...
No, I actually think everything that starts with the word radical is a problem.
Yeah, but you put
radical
the word
vegans,
radical in
radical
front of
feminists,
words in order
radical
to
climate
cancel
change
them.
people. Anyone who is basically slightly demented in their fervour for something is a problem. And I think it's the same with Trump, with Brexit, with all of it.
Couldn't be less radical, could you, Alexander?
This is the
not
least
really
radical man in the room.
No, I'm not radical. I mean, a couple. No, I'm not really. Generally, I don't get very hot under the collar.
What makes you really angry? When was the last time you
I tell you what makes
exploded?
me really angry is people doing this, that noise.
Yeah.
I
Tutting?
hate. Yeah.
She does it to me all the time. Followed by an eye roll.
Oh, you can do it to one, but it's just when people. It's that. It's a very English thing where you just go, or it's followed by the word typical. Typical. You think, it's not typical. It's not. Stop trying to find a pattern. There's not a pattern.
This sounds a little personal.
No, it's not really.
How angry do you get when you hear people do that?
Well, it makes me tut.
Alexander, great to see you. The tour starts 3rd of November in Coventry.
Great pleasure.
18 dates, your first stand-up tour. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing you at
all
the
the very
Saints
best.
and Sinners Christmas lunch,
I shall see you there.
where your comedic singing is of high class. We can't talk about it. It's a secret meeting of undesirables.
Sounds so
But it's a,
terrible.
Like the
it's a great lunch.
Masons.
Are you there in saint or sinner capacity?
I think sinner probably.
Yeah, I agree. So am I. I'm there in a saint capacity. Good to see you.
All the very best.